will be a demonstration project using the Quickdraw weaving program to begin from polychrome image that I'm going to create, and each pixel in that bitmap is going to translate to a profile draft, which I'm then going to actually weave in summer and winter to produce a finished product with the same color patterns. Since each pixel is one profile draft, it's a real small image, so first thing I need to do is zoom in so I've got something big enough to deal with. Now the way I created this is simply by going in with the colors, select a red pen, and I drew each one of the red lines, the white lines, went in with a rectangular tool and a blue paint, filled in the blue of that. Let me undo that because I don't want to take the time to actually draw that whole thing, and then just white overlay squares to simulate the stars. So I've now got the pattern there. So I'm going to do a Control-A, Control-C, copies that whole image. Now what I'm going to do is go to the grid view, and I'm going to paste a bitmap image. So it's actually taken each color set and generated a photo mask so that I can actually see there's the white layer. So it's got the dark is actually the white background. And there's the blue field, and there are the red stripes. And the marks at the end of those fields simply are separators so I can see them. So now I've got a profile draft. I go to threading. I'll go to summer and winter. I'm going to do the block layout since it gives me a little bit more square thing that works better for my, gives me a square block which works better for my stars and stripes test here. So now I've got those three drafts, and I generated that without a tabby, so I can add that later if I want to, since I'm going to merge multiples. Okay, so I'm going to add an annotation. I'm going to call that white. Going to add the white annotation. I'm then going to scroll down for a little bit. So when I start right there, I actually pick up, there's my blue. Right click to clear it. Right click, type in blue, and add that note. Now, last thing I'm going to need to do is go back in and pick up the red layer. So those are all the red threads. Right click, red. So actually I need to set the red threads to red. Go back and select the blue threads. Set those to blue. Now the other thing I'm going to need to do is come back in and add Tabby threads, so I can add those if I want to. Right click, and so I add Tabby. So now I've got the ability to go play with those guys back and forth. Now I've got the 4 blocks set up. First thing I really want to do, I want to save this so that I can play with it a little bit more later. I'm going to save a flag project. Okay, now when I actually want to go weave that, I'm going to need to merge those layers. And I have a choice. I can do the white, blue, and red threads. And if I do all of these as profile, I don't need to add the tabby, or I can do a white as a background and add blue and red as tabby. And my warp at the moment is the black, so let me go change that real quick. And first thing I want to do is add a gray color, just so I can see a difference. I wouldn't really worry about that if I weren't doing that. And so now the warp is all the gray, and I can see that pattern a little bit more subtly. And let me save that. So now when I want to actually merge the layers, I click the white, copy it to A, click the blue, copy it to B, click the red, copy it to C. So I've now got those 3 blocks. And when I just want to take those 3, if I drag them to intersperse, I've now actually, if I scroll way out, I can see the flag merged into there. And I can then save that as a version 1 of the interlace, and that's with 3 pattern colors. The other thing I could also have done, let me undo. I'm now back to the 3, so what I can actually do, the other choice I have, is I can drag select the blue threads, copy those to A, the red threads, copy those to B, and then what I'm going to do is go for the tabby block down at the bottom, and what it's then going to do is rotate every time it fills in one of the blue, one of the red, and then one tabby, blue, red, the next tabby. It'll just recycle that tabby so it'll fill the whole block. When I drag C to the intersperse, I've now added the tabby threads So when I scroll in, I can actually see the red, blue, and the tabby. When I scroll out, I can see I've got the flag. In this case, the background, the white is generated by the background. If you zoom in, you can actually see the gray warp threads and the white web threads. So that allows me to then go through and weave that started with the polychrome flag, and it will then generate the pattern. And I haven't set the weft sizes, so when it weaves and compresses, it should look a little bit more like that. Okay, once I've actually got the pattern done, if I look at what Quickdraw is showing me here, it's real hard to see. This is zoom in. It's hard to see the forest for the trees. I can kind of see the blue. I'm up in the top left-hand corner. So I'm looking to the field area of the U.S. flag. If I zoom out, I can see it actually start to appear now. So I've actually got some ability there. I'm still playing with Finish View, trying to figure out how to get a better view of that pattern. But that's as close as I can get with Quickdraw actually showing the modeling of what it's going to look like now. So we actually went out and wove a sample. So I'm using an 8-shaft table loom, basically as a means, with Adobe head, just so that it's a little bit easier to try to control this. If I look more carefully at the samples that are on the loom there, okay, the one on the bottom here Liz did, and it's definitely a whole lot cleaner. This one was with Tabby, so you can actually see the lines between the red threads as well as the white stripes have a whole lot more texture in them. The blues are split up. So the upper one here was done without Tabby, and I did that one. You'll notice the selvages are crap, and I'm sorry. But the red lines are a lot more consistent. The blue fields are more solid. I'm still looking at a little bit of trace of the red there. And I got curious to see what would happen if I added more colors. So in this particular sample, the bottom is the pattern I was just looking at without Tabby. The upper, what I'd done is taken the border, the original bitmap flag, and set them black. So now I've got the red, white, blue, and black. So it's a 4-color polychrome. And so when I weave that, I can see that the stripes, actually, depending upon how I was beating, the stripes, so I can get to 4 colors fairly easily. I was curious just how far I could push that. So this is that same 4-color polychrome on the bottom. And what I actually done is changed the stars from white to yellows so I can actually see them. So this is a 5-color polychrome, so it's a 5-shuttle weave up on top here, just to see what was going on. And the stripes aren't quite as clean because there's a lot more going on. So for each shot here, for each visible shot, there are 4 invisible shots that are in the background, so there's a lot of warp in there. Okay, these are the last 2 samples that we wove with that one. The sample on the bottom was done with the sugar and cream cotton. It got real weird on us. These areas should have been white. You can see the blue field here was okay. Don't really know what was going on. The upper sample is the last one I did, which is in anchor tapestry wool. And because of the loft there, we're actually much more robust colors. Pardon the errors in weaving that. It was a bad afternoon. But you can see the blue, the stars are coming in through. The wool was actually a fairly successful run. Thank you.